Hello. Hello.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah.
It's fine now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So in the previous class, we have learned about how to create the backend using Java Spring Boot, and we have implemented JWT authentication as well as rule-based access. After that, in this class, we will implement how to create the front end of our website. And in order to create the front end, we are going to write the React codes. So in order to create a React plus Y tab, just open your VS Code terminal, and inside that VS Code terminal, open a folder and then go to the terminal option which is present over here. Let me show you at first. Here is my folder that is front data
Hello,
pack.
ma'am.
Yeah,
Ma'am, your voice is too low and like someone is talking in your background. It is like disturbing.
okay. Is it
Your
possible?
voice is too low.
Is it loud now?
Okay, ma'am. It's okay now.
Okay. So as I'm showing you people over here that I have a folder that is front data bag which I have opened inside my VS Code. How to open the code? Just click on this file tab and click on the open folder and then open whichever folder you want to open and then click on select folder. This is how you have to open any kind of folder inside your Visual Studio Code. After that, what you have to do is go to this terminal, click on the navigate to the folder which you have created and then write npm create white at the rate latest and then write the name of your folder. I have to write front end because I am creating the front end over here, so I am naming my folder as front end and then I will write template as React. Just copy this entire command and paste it inside your VS Code. Since I am already having this folder created over here, I will not run this code in my terminal, but you people have to run this. And you have to tell me what are you people getting after running this command inside your Visual Studio Code terminal. Just do it fast and tell me what are you getting. I'm giving you the time till 6:05. Do it fast and tell me what are you getting. And then I will proceed.
Ma'am, we can get the JSON log files and the app.js and the index.html and index files, ma'am.
You are getting all those directly.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am.
Arvind, just show me. Share your screen.
Ma'am, I'm using mobile, ma'am. It will redirect into the front end folder. Then we can use the npm that that app name and npm install. Then that npm run dev, ma'am.
Okay, I got it. Hope you all have done this much of work. Now proceeding. Inside, after running all those CD improvement and dev etc. You will get this front-end folder created. Inside this, you will get the SRC folder, inside which you will get the app.jsx. Here we have to write our main code. Inside the app.jsx, what I will write, I will also have to install these dependencies inside my front-end folder. So in order to install these dependencies, I will paste it in the chat box. In order to install these dependencies, you have to write npm install and then the name of the dependencies, such as bootstrap, separated by a space, then React, then again a space, React bootstrap, and then React DOM, and then React router DOM. So this is the command that you have to write inside your VS Code terminal in order to install these dependencies. And you can check whether these dependencies has been installed inside your package.json file, which lies inside your front-end folder. After installing these dependencies, go back to your app.jsx, and here we will import React, use state, state from React. And now you might be asking, ma'am, why are we importing this use state and what exactly is this? So coming on to the use state, this use state is a React hook, and we use this React hook in order to manage the state of a variable. Say for example, you are having a button on your website and you want to increase the button's value by 1. Say for example, you have provided the value 0 by default to that button. So in order to increase the value of that button, you have to use this use state. And you will be able to understand it in a much better way once we use it inside our code. So let's also import button for container from the React bootstrap. From React bootstrap, which is why we have installed the React bootstrap. And then we will import browser router as router. We are importing this browser router as router so that wherever we have to mention the browser router, in place of our browser router, we can also mention just router in order to use it in a more efficient way. And then we will also import routes, and then we will import route. After that, we will also import link, comma, we will import use navigate. And we will install all these from the React router DOM. Here is the React router DOM. So we are importing all these routes, link, and use navigate in order to navigate from one page to the another page. Without these tags, which we are importing from the React router DOM, we will not be able to navigate from one page to another page, which is why it is necessary to import them. After importing all these things, we have to mention some of the helper functions. So the importance of these functions is that whenever we will create some HTML components for our web page from our web page, then we have to call these functions in order to perform certain operations. So this is the importance of the functions that we are going to mention inside these helper functions. Now coming on to the first helper function, that is const. I will mention the function name as get users. And this one is going to be my arrow function. And here I will write JSON, not the JS tag, JSON dot parse. Inside this, I will write local storage dot get item, and inside this, I will write users. Here I will provide or an empty array. So what are we doing? We are trying to fetch all the users that are logging in inside the website, and the data of all the users will get inside the local storage. And in order to get all the users, here we have to use the get item function. After that, I will also write const save users. After getting all the users, what I'm doing over here is I am saving all the users. So I have to pass users in the save users function. And this is also going to be my arrow function. Here I will again write local storage dot set item. Inside the set item, I will write users as the first parameter, and then I will write JSON dot stringify and then users. So we are using the stringify method in order to convert the data into strings, which is carried out by the JSON library. So we can use the JSON library in order to parse the items as well as in order to convert the items into string. This is why the JSON library is very important. And then we are also using the set logout user. Set logged in user is equal to again an arrow function. Over here I will write local storage dot remove item. Inside this I will write login user. Logged in. Not remove item, I will write local storage dot set item. Inside this, logged in user, comma, logged in user, comma, JSON dot stringify user. So this will again stringify a logged in user who will provide his name while logging in. And then we are going to mention a function, that is function registration form. Here we are going to create a registration form for the user, which is why I have created a function registration form. Inside this, I will write const navigate is equal to, here I will use the use navigate that I have imported from the React Router DOM. And then after using the use navigate method, I will write const. Here I will mention an array. And inside the array, I will store form data, which is a variable. Form data is a variable. And then I will mention set form data. And the set form data is my function. So here inside the array, I have mentioned a variable followed by a function. And here I will be writing use state hook that I just have imported from the React. So here there is going to be certain changes. What changes are going to be? I will write name, which is an empty value, followed by email. This is also my empty value. After the email, I will provide contact. Contact is also my empty value. And then I will provide the file size. This is also empty. After this, I will provide password. And I will keep it empty. That's it. So here inside the form data, I have mentioned the name, email, contact, profile pic, and password as empty values, so that the user, so in order to enable the user to provide the values to these different inputs, the user while registering himself in the website has to provide his name, his email, his contact, profile pic, as well as password. After that, I will write another function, that is const. The name of the function is going to be handle change. Inside this function, I will write key, and then I will make an arrow function. E stands for event. Just remember this, that the E stands for event. Inside the set handle change function, I will write set form data that I have mentioned over here inside this array. I will mention the set form data function, and inside this form data function, I will use the spread operator, that is this three dots. And after mentioning the spread operator, I will mention form data. So why did we do this? So that whichever value the user will provide, those value will get stored inside their particular fields. That is why the spread operator is used as the first parameter. And inside the second parameter, we will write e dot target dot name. It's going to be e dot target dot value. So in each name which is present inside the form data will target the value. After targeting the value, it will store the entire data in these fields, which is why this target keyword is very important while setting the form data. After mentioning these functions, we have to write another function. Here we will mention the const handle submit function. And this handle submit function will get executed. Can you people guess when will this handle submit function will get executed? For which HTML component? Any guesses? Any guesses when will the handle submit function will execute? All right. So whenever the user will choose the submit button, then this handle submit function will get executed. Inside this handle submit, I am going to mention the e dot prevent default method. This e.prevent default method prevents the button to reload the page, which is the default function of the button. Whenever we press the submit button, what it does is it reloads the web page, which we do not want. Then what do we want the submit button to do? We want the submit button to do these functions that we are going to mention inside the handle submit for a function. So here I will mention const users is equal to get users, and then I will mention const email exists is equal to users dot sum. Inside this I will write user followed by an arrow function, user dot email triple equals to form data dot email which means what? Here we are checking whether the email's value as well as data type which is provided by the users while submitting the form is equal to the email which is provided by the user inside the form data, that is stored inside the form data variable's email variable. That will check and if and submit and return that if the email already exists inside the form data. And then we will place a condition, and the condition is going to be if email exists, then execute these commands, then provide the user with an alert message that email already registered. Email is the message that email is already registered. After providing the alert message, it will return. After this, users dot push And inside this, we will again write the spread operator, and then I will write form data, so that if the email is not present inside the form data, then whenever the user will provide a new email, that gets stored inside the form data, which is why I have mentioned the push method. After pushing the new email, it will store again the new email. So for that, I will write save users. Inside this, I will mention users. After the save users, I will provide an alert message again. And this alert message is going to be registered user successfully. This is going to be shown to the user in an alert box whenever the user gets successfully registered inside the website. And after registering the user, then it will automatically navigate the user to the API endpoint, which is login, which means that the user will get redirected to the login page. This is why when we are mentioning the navigate, we are using this use navigate in order to navigate the user from one page to another page. After this, we will declare the HTML components. And inside the HTML components, we are going to provide the user with a form, so that the user can provide his details inside those forms. Inside this return method, I will write container that I have imported from the React Bootstrap, and I will provide it a class name. And the class name is going to be empty4, which means I am going to provide this container the margin from the top, which is 4 pixels. And here I will mention inside the h3 tag register, so that I will get a register as heading. Inside this, I will create a form using the form tag, and then I will mention the on submit event of the form tag. And this on submit event will execute the handle submit function. Inside the form, I will provide form.label. Inside the label, I will write name, so that the user gets name. After that, he gets an empty space where the user has to enter his name. After the form label, I will provide form.control. And then I will mention a name attribute, and I will assign the name value to the name attribute. And here, the onChange event, I will provide the function handle change, which I have mentioned over here. That is the handle change event. And then this one is the mandatory field. For this, I will write required. This is how we have mentioned the form control. And this form control can also be a self-closing tag. So in order to make a tag self-closing, we can also close it in this way. This is what makes a tag self-closing. So I will place this entire form label and form controller into a form group. So for that, I will first mention form.group. Inside this form group, I will place this form label as well as form control. This is how I will be creating different tags as well as labels for the name, email, password, as well as contact and profile pic. All those data that I want from the user while registering himself. So I will copy all this, and then I will make another form group. Inside this form group, I will provide the user provide his email, and the label will show the user as email. And inside this form.control, I will be mentioning the type, and type is going to be email. Yeah, which means that the type of input we are asking to the user is email. After that, we will provide the name as email, and rest of the things will remain same. After taking email from the user, we will take contact number of the user. Inside the form.group, I will write contact. And then the rest of the things are going to be same, but here inside the name, I will change it to contact. And this one is also going to be a mandatory field. After taking the contact, I will take the password of the user. So for the password, I will provide the label as password. And inside the form.control, I will write type is equal to password, which means we are taking the password type of input from the user. And here the name will be password. And finally, from the password, after the password, I will also take the profile picture. And the name is going to be profile picture. And rest of the things will remain same. All right. After making
Ma'am,
registration,
the submit button, we haven't formed submit button, right?
can you please repeat your query?
Ma'am, we haven't created a submit button.
Yeah, I'm just going to create the submit button. After
Yeah,
mentioning
ma'am.
all this,
Yeah, ma'am.
yeah,
In name in the name form label, we can also add the placeholders like
yeah, we can also add the placeholder. If you do not want to provide the name in the beginning of the entity field, then you can also provide inside this form dot control the attribute placeholder, which is equal to name.
yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So after providing all these data, what I will do is I will provide a submit or register button after this form tag. Here, after the form group, I will mention button, and I will provide it the class name as empty, which means I am providing the margin of the button from the top, which is 2 pixels. And then I am going to mention the type of button, which is submit button. And then I will write the name of the button, and the button will display its name as register. After the form tag gets over, I want this register form to display one more line within the paragraph, and I will provide the paragraph the class name as empty2, which means I'm providing it some margin of 2 pixels from the top. And inside the paragraph tag, it will ask the user if the user is already having an account for the website. For that, I will write already have account. Then I will use the link tag, which I have imported from the React Router DOM. And inside the link tag, we have the attribute to. And to this attribute, we provide the value login, so that whenever the user clicks on the link text that is login here, so whenever the user will click on this login here, this is kind of a link. Link to what? It will provide the link to the login page. That is why we have provided the API endpoint of the login page. And this tag, the link tag that is login here, will take us to the login page, which is why we are using this link tag. So we have already mentioned all the functions as well as components, which is provided by our registration form. After registration, one more thing that we have to add over here is the login form in order to log in inside the website. So for here, I will create function login form, and I will mention the functions that I will be using for HTML components. And here again, I will be mentioning const email, comma, set email. So by now, you people might have understood that email is the variable and set email is my function. And here I'll again be mentioning the use state hook, but in this time I am going to store an empty string inside this email, so that the value that the user will be providing during the login, that value will be assigned to this email variable. After the email, I will also provide const password, comma, set password. Here again, the password is a variable and set password is the function, so that whenever the user will provide his password, then it will get stored inside the password variable, which is why I have provided an empty string to the password variable. After that, I will write const navigate is equal to use navigate. Here, I will provide const handle login function is equal to E, which I have already told stands for the event. And here I will again mention E dot prevent default method, which prevents the page from reloading, which is the default method of this handle login function. And here I will write const users is equal to get users. This get users is our helper function, which we have already mentioned over here. In order to get all the data from the local storage, we are using this get users. After that, I will also mention const user is equal to users dot find. Inside this find method, I'll write u with an arrow function. U dot email triple equals to, and then email, and u dot password triple equals to password, which means that we are comparing. What are we comparing? We are comparing that whether the email as well as password provided by the user during the time of login date, that is, the values provided to this email as well as password, are equal to the already existing email and password which are stored inside the local storage during the registration of the user before the login function executes. This is going to check whether the email as well as password existing inside the local storage. This is how the condition works when we are logging in into the website. And here I will place if user, then execute these statements. The statements are set logged in user as user. And then I will write alert. And here I will place backticks. Inside the backticks, I will write welcome, comma. Within the $sign, I will write user dot. I will provide the name of the user, so that after the user logs into the website, the alert message is shown to the user, and inside that message, it will say welcome, followed by the name of the user, which he provides during the time of registration. Which means if Arvind provides his name as Arvind, then when he logs in inside the website, then an alert box will appear showing the message welcome Arvind. This is how this $sign within the backticks works by using the user.name. after providing this alert box, it will navigate the user to the login page. For that, we will mention, so this will be the empty. This is going to be the empty page. And if else, which means if the user is not found inside the local storage, then it will provide us the message within the alert box that is invalid credentials. So here we have already mentioned those functions which we are going to use inside the form, that is the login form. And how do we create the login form? We will create the login form inside this return method. Here I will mention again the container tag which I have imported from the Bootstrap, and I will provide it a class name as empty4, that is margin of 4 pixels from the top. And inside this container, I will mention a heading login. This is H3. Yeah. Here the heading will show login. After the heading, I will provide a form tag. And I will assign it. So here I will provide the on submit event. Inside this on submit event, I will call the handle submit function or handle login function. Inside the form tag, I will again provide the form.group. Inside this form group, I will provide email. Email, and the type is going to be email. That's it. And on change event, I will provide that is the event going to be set email. And from where did I get this set email? I got this set email from here that I have used for the use state. And the email will be set to e.target.value. So that in order to set the email provided by user, we will target the value of the email. That is why we have written e.target.value. And the rest of the things will remain same. And in order to take the password, I will use this again. And in place of the email, I will write pass. And then the type is going to be password. And inside the name, I will write email. And here inside the name, I will write password. And here I will write set email password. So here the set password method is called, which is declared inside this use state. So this is how we target the value which is provided by the user using e.target.value. And then after providing the fields to the user in order to provide his email and password, we will provide the button using the button tag. And then we will mention a class name which will provide margin of 2 pixels from the top. That's why we are writing empty2 as class name. And then this button is also the type of submit button. And inside this button, I will display login. So here we have successfully created our register form as well as login form. And finally, I will export the default app. So inside the default app, I will write export default function app. So here I'm making an app function. Inside this function, I will return. Here I will use the route as well as routes. So in order to use the browser router, I have to use router. because I have imported the browser router as router in the very first line over here, that I have written import browser router as router. So here I'll be using router in place of browser router. Inside the router tag, I will mention routes. Inside the routes, I will mention route. And then I will provide the path attribute, which will take us to an empty path. And if the path is empty, then the element tag will provide is equal to element is an attribute. Inside the element, it will create a container. And the container's class name will be margin of 4 pixels from the top. Inside this container, I will write a button. And this button will take the class name will be M2. That is, I am providing the margin of 2 pixel in all the sides of the button. And then when the button is clicked, the event on click will get executed. On click. Inside this on click event is equal to I want this button to take me to the register page. So for that purpose, I will make a function over here, which is going to be an arrow function. And here I will write window dot location dot href is equal to, I will write the API endpoint of my registration form. And inside the button, I will write register. And I will create similar button so that I can get navigated to the login page. So here each and everything will be same, but since I want to go to the login page, so that the endpoint I will provide over here is going to be login. And inside the button also I will write login. So we have made 2 buttons for the register as well as login. And here I will close the route. And I will make another route. Inside this route I will provide the path, which is going to be the register path. And then I will provide the element as this is going to be the registration form element. And this is also going to be the self-closing tag. Yeah. This is one of the routes, and the other route is going to be my login. Here I will write login as the API endpoint, and the element over here is going to be the login. So we have successfully created the different routes as well as button in order to navigate to the register as well as login page. I will save this and I will open the terminal. And here I will write npm run dev. Okay. So here I am getting the error because I am not currently inside this front end folder. For that purpose, I have to write cd front end. And then I will clear all these things. After navigating to the front end folder, I will write npm run dev. I will click on this link. I'm getting 2 buttons, that is the register as well as login. At first, I will click on this register. After clicking on this register, I will get name, email, contact, profile picture, and password. For the name, I will provide anything, John Doe. Email is johndoe@gmail.com. Any contact number. Profile picture, say I provide the image of these flowers. Here I will provide it. And the password is going to be, and then I will register. See, I'm getting registered user successfully as the alert box. Then I will click on OK. Not now. And then I'm getting redirected to the login page. And if I enter the email of John Doe and the password G encryption, then I will click on this login. It will provide us with the alert message. Is it clear to all of you?
Okay, ma'am.
I hope there are no any doubts with you people. And if there are any doubts, then you people can ask me. Or else, if you are not having any kind of doubt, then you people can also leave the meeting. And that's it for today's class. And your project review is going to be from 25th to 27th May. So be ready for your project review. Over there, I'll be asking questions to you people from both the backend as well as the front end. Just keep this thing in mind. Project review. That is from 25th, 27th May. Going to be your project review.